Good morning, Aquarius. It's Empress Rose here with your general reading. So these are general readings. So we take what works, we leave what doesn't. We check our other major placements if I don't catch your storyline or wavelength here. And we are grateful for the messages we're about to receive. What do we have for Aquarius? This week coming up. Okay. What do we have for Aquarius? Anything else? Well, that looks good. All right, I don't know why my hair is doing this thing. It's just, my head is just a sea of cowlicks, and sometimes the cowlicks do different things. It drives me crazy. All right, so here we have Tiny Triumphs. So this is about, I know you got this one a couple months ago. It really stood out to me. This is about instinct taking over. And intellect. You had this smart idea, but the tables have turned now. Things have switched around, and what was small and instinctual and maybe afraid and scared has popped out in a big way and has something to say. And it's a little bit funny too. She's in his gesture. It doesn't really matter. We've got some ruby slippers here, so but different genders throughout the history of fashion have worn bright red shoes, and so who knows, and it doesn't really matter actually, but something's popping out here and it's kind of funny. It's kind of in a big way. This is the court jester who gets to talk to the king in any way they want and make the jokes, and so the tables have turned. The tiny thing here gets to talk back to the smart bird. What's usually prey is predator, and what's usually predator is about the size of prey. I don't think anything bad's going to happen here. I think it's just tables have turned. It's called Tiny Triumphs. So the thing that is tiny, usually quieter, gets to come out in a really bold way. So look for your intuition to be popping out here. That's something, a little bit, I imagine this field mouse has always been, quivering in the field. It senses all alive for danger. And now it gets to be bigger and danger is smaller. So there's less fear here. There's more intuition, and roles are going to be reversed. Yeah. And then we have Sea Witch here. So this is practicing, this is learning, this is playing. It's serious play. You're playing at something, but you have hopes that it's going to be a serious thing someday. You have this propeller here. It's a broken propeller. You just play with it. You have a little friend here. You're very committed to this, and there might be an aspect to this where you are asking yourself if you're worthy of the real thing yet. Are you ready for the real propeller yet? And you might be sort of playing around with a sense of self-worth, a sense of self-value, and you're very curious. You're intensely curious about this whole process, and you'd really like to level up. Do you remember playing when you were a kid, and there was just this intensity to it sometimes, which it was like, what's it really going to be like to have my real house? And you could almost like get into that zone and imagine the whole thing very clearly. So that's a little bit of what you're here. You're imagining things. You're imagining going someplace. You're imagining being someplace different than where you are. You're imagining having a lot more power than you do. So I see power dynamics. Well, because you don't have power. This is not a propeller with any amount of power. You're a jellyfish. You don't have a lot of power. You don't get to push and go. You're just imagining about what it would be like right now to go somewhere, to be able to have more agency in your life. And you're playing around with that idea. And here, this is happening in this one, but there's still a sense of play here. So there's a sense of play in both cards, and there's a sense of power dynamics being at stake here, at issue, and how much power you have over your life. And you may just be dreaming about this moment when you do get to have this power, when you are no longer prey. Did not want to go back into the deck. I have this monster deck here. I don't know if I'm going to continue doing it, but it's a combo of Work Your Light and Moonology, and I really like the combos it's spitting out. And sometimes a no combo. Sometimes somebody gets like all one thing. Well, well, well. Okay. Well, we just got the one here. We have answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? So we have sort of a sunrise here and a lot of contemplation going on as you look at the world around you and you try to understand and see your place in it and where you want to go. So right now, this is, what is your soul called? This is another card about where do you want to go? What do you want? Planning, thinking, contemplating. Planning, thinking, contemplating, where do you want to go? So you're dreaming about, you know, where you want to go, what your calling is, what, listening to that intuition calling you forward, and where is it calling? So you're sort of in this planning stage, in this dreaming stage, imagining stage. You have, I mean, this isn't necessarily your whole life. You might already have quite a calling, but this is some sort of tweak, or it could be the whole thing, depending on what stage you're at. So what's your soul calling you to do? So you're feeling some sort of call. You may have been ignoring it. But it is like dreaming, planning, scheming about how where in this landscape do you want to go? Do you want to go to the waterfalls? Do you want to go to the mountains? There's a coming clarity, and this is encouraging you to use that clarity. You're in a fairly powerful place right now, even though you're not going anywhere. All right, Aquarius, let's move on to... Normally, you would shuffle this deck and you would cut this deck, and then, but it's coronavirus time. So we're doing YouTube, and I have to kind of guess where you might cut the deck. A little nerve-wracking, honestly. All right, Aquarius, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue, your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Okay. We have this Eight of Cups here in your recent past. This is very similar to every card we have just drawn. Your intuition's calling you forward. You have the Eight of Cups and everyone's like, hey, those Eight of Cups should be good enough, right? Good enough Eight of Cups. You've got 8 of them. Who needs more? That's enough. But your soul, your intuition is telling you that there is something more. There's something more out there. And you would like to go find those additional 2 cups. The way is going to be treacherous. You know, we have these cliffs here. We have mountains in the way, but you know that there's something more fulfilling out there for you. And you're ready to go follow your intuition and find those other 2 cups. So similar vibe of this, like following your intuition, heading for something more. Your soul is, what's your soul calling you to do? Look at how similar these cards are. They're both in the mountains. They're facing the same direction. They're both seated. I don't see a lot of seated characters in either one of these decks. They're both seated, and they both have this celestial body coming up, bringing in some level of clarity. They both talk about your intuition, and they both talk about heading out, planning a journey or some sort, finding more satisfaction in life, finding not quite having the complete set of cups here, but being called forward to do something more with yourself and your time and your life and your energy. Okay, and then in your present moment, you have the Wheel of Fortune. So your fortunes are turning right now. Something's changing in your life. You may have made some changes and those are coming into effect. This feels like luck, but it's often not quite luck. But there's some sort of lucky switch I like this. The tables are turning right here, this tiny triumphs. And we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is changing the predator to the prey, and the prey to the predator, and the rich to the poor, and the poor to the rich, and that kind of thing is going on right now. So there's a change in dynamics that you're experiencing right now. Possibly power dynamics, as I was seeing earlier, but there's a change. It's a little bit outside of your control. You may have done something to start it, but now it's the change that's, you know, luck changes, and luck is something that's so mysterious. I mean, we can do these things that improve our luck, like working on something, playing with something, playing with ideas, working with ideas, learning, growing, doing our part. But then the opportunity comes in, and we don't get to control when the opportunity comes in, and oftentimes exactly what that opportunity is. But we can control our ability to be prepared for the opportunity and to take advantage of an opportunity that comes in. And that's our role, is to be prepared for the opportunities we're wanting and asking the universe for. But we don't get to say when, and we don't get to say precisely how and who and all of that. We don't get control, but we do get to make sure that we're prepared and we've done our job so that we can meet any kind of good luck or good fortune or, you know, coincidence of meeting the right person at the right time. And we are ready to meet that person, or we're ready to meet that opportunity. So you're having a change in fortunes, and you could either be the mouse or the raven here. You could be one or the other. So, but something's flipping, something's turning. Where once there was an opportunity, were no opportunities, there are now, or where once there were lots of opportunities, maybe there aren't right now. That's not the way I like to read it, but hey, it's fortune, it's the wheel, it turns, it's got its good side and its bad side. So something's happening here where it's changing for you. In your inner landscape, you have this 10 of Wands. You've been carrying a burden that is not yours to carry. It's getting old. You're very tired of it. I think you're fantasizing or hoping to be able to put this burden down. You don't want to carry it anymore. You're starting to realize it was never yours to carry. These are other people's burdens, other people's issues, other people's problems, and you've been having to deal with them and carry them in a way that's just been really unfair to you. So you're hopeful that the 10 of Wands is about this whole process coming to an end. It's over. So that's what you're hoping for. This is your hopes, fears, and what you're thinking a lot about. So you're thinking a lot about burdens, about what really is yours to carry, what really is your burden, and what is something you've been carrying and dealing with that's somebody else's problem. You know, it's that not my circus, not my monkeys kind of thing. Like these aren't your monkeys. These are somebody else's sticks. So you're really hopeful that you're going to be coming to a point where you can end this painful, heavy, burdensome cycle and put it down. Put these 10 of Wands down. They're not even yours. And then what's at issue is this Knight of Swords, but we take it in the reverse. So there's a lack of clarity. There's a lack of focus going on, and a lack of clarity, a lack of communication, a lack of honesty. Something may be moving a lot slower than you'd like. So in the upright, the Knight of Swords is all about clarity, self-control, focus, honesty. That sword, you know, is communication and thoughts and ideas. And it's very sharp when we have that Knight of Swords. It's very clear. And he comes in pretty fast here. Fastest moving. Fastest moving of them all the knights. But in the reverse, so we're talking about that not happening. It's not fast. Or it could be overly rash. He's pretty rash in the upright already, but this could be, so we're taking it like the Knight of Swords gone wrong. He can go wrong in two directions. He can be dishonest. He can be unfocused, lack of clarity, lack of good mental hygiene, lack of mental self-control, lack of control over what he thinks and his mind, you know, because we need to be very carefully gardening our minds, pulling out the weeds, the things we don't want to grow, and making sure we're watering the things that we do want to grow. So, or the Knight gone wrong can also be overly rash. But with this 10 of Wands, it's quite a burden. I'm not sure I'm seeing overly rash supported here, but that's what's at issue, is a reverse Knight of Swords here. In your environment, we have the devil. So take that as you want. The tarot doesn't necessarily see the devil as evil spiritual influence. I guess you could take it that way if that's sort of already part of your belief system. But I would say this is separation from self. This is separation from who you really are. This is a disruption of your connection to your intuition and your own inner spiritual connection to spirit. So the devil is about like, I don't know what possessed me to do that. And here in this deck, we take it as it does have a pretty obsessive, so obsession, addiction, something like that can actually like, is actually part of the whole is one of the many things that can separate us from our own intuition and our own hearts and our own souls and our own connection to the divine. So this is some sort of disruption, disrupting influence from your connection to the divine. And that could be addiction, that could be cruelty, that could be any number of the vices, the typical vices. Those all disconnect us from our straight line to the divine here. So there's something in your environment that's sort of bedeviling you, obsessing, some sort of disruption. So this is why we got this call. What is your soul calling you to do? You're really being called back into connection to that, because this devil's disrupting it. And you know there's more, you want more. So you're being called forward into a deeper connection with spirit, with yourself. There's just a disruptive, obsessive, addictive, cruel sort of energy in your environment right now. Your to-do list is this 10 of Swords. So I'm seeing that you're not in like the happiest place at this point. So this 10 of Swords is your to-do list. So we've got a 10 of Wands. You're dreaming of the end of a painful, heavy burden cycle. And then you're being called to actually end that heavy burden cycle. So the 10 of Wands is the end of a painful cycle. This could be things that have been said, some verbal abuse. They ran out of swords. You've been so hurt and so harmed and so stabbed in the back here that you've run out of swords. But here you are, you're reaching for the water. So your job is to bring to close this very painful cycle. You've been dreaming about it. You've been thinking about it. You've been dreaming about it. And now it's time to act and actually, turn the tables and take more control over the situation and end it. End the painful situation, come to this healing waters. So this is the energy you're being called into ending this painful cycle. There are no more swords. There's no more to make sure that that's not continuing on here. Your soul, what's your soul calling you to do? To end something, to end a painful cycle and to seek healing. And then what do we have in your possible outcome is the Queen of Wands. So this could be you. This could be somebody you're on your way to meeting or somebody in your life. So a possible outcome is this Queen of Wands, highly intuitive, a little bit magical, very patient, very strong, a lot of inner strength, very in touch with her intuition, very open-minded, and nurturing. So we have this Queen of Wands. So this is an energy that you're going towards or you're going to be embodying after you end this painful cycle. Or because it's a court card, this could be someone actually coming into your life or having a bigger role in your life. So looking out for that energy coming in, either into you personally or to you personally or a person that you're going to be meeting here. So yeah, very intuitive, patient, strong, open-minded person. And this could be you. This could be where you're going into this direction. So, I hope that you find what you're looking for and, you build a strong connection with spirit and with your soul this week, and don't let things disrupt that and end this painful cycle. All right, Aquarius, thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments. And I love interacting with you guys in the comment section. It's very fun for me. And it also raises the visibility of the channel so other people can find these messages. So this is your, what do you call that? Philanthropy, your philanthropic activity can be, helping someone down the line find this channel. So anyway, I hope you have a wonderful week, Aquarius.